Welcome back to the Name Five Players podcast. I'm Tony Wetmore.
I'm Cassie Narcus.
I'm Diane Raddick.
And we're so excited to be back. And not only are we back, but we are 3 degrees hotter on this podcast. Today we'll talk a little bit about graduation, what's next, what we hope is next, all the fun things. So I'll start with the Florida girls. How was your graduation?
Oh, it's been a while since we've done this.
It was so stressful because they asked us to spell botanically, and I did it.
That's like botanically. She means phonetically. As you can see, the degree did not do much for her. You did not just say botanically.
And I fully thought that's not what it was called. Phototonically, photographic.
Okay. So I'll be Diane's speaker. I can continue. Yeah, they made us phonetically spell our names on our cards, and that was definitely a fun time. But graduation as a whole was good. We can get a little bit into the ceremony. We can talk about the ceremony in a minute.
I spelled my name Di-Ann and R-A-Dick. And I don't think that was supposed to be how you do it, but
at least they pronounced your name correct.
What did
they called me Casey on stage.
I saw
Casey Narcus.
They said Casey Narcus, and I literally don't know how to do the phonetic spelling things, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna sound it out how you should say it, right? And also, my name was written normally on the card too, but they just had you write it phonetically too. Yeah. I wrote Cass, C-A-S-S, that's Cass, and then dash E-E, Cass E.
No one knows how to read photosynthesis.
I did not write C-A-S-E. I did not write the word case. How do you mess that up?
Bro, I got beef with this photosynthesis stuff.
And then all of our friends in the stands had beef with the lady they were texting me during the ceremony. They're like, you need to get back up on the stage and take the microphone away from her. And tell her that her name's Cassie, not Casey. It was the whole thing.
Cassie. Casey graduated, but now it's my turn.
Yeah, so Diane with her vulgar phonetic spelling, and apparently I'm Casey now. We had quite the ceremony.
She called me, and then I picked up.
Oh yeah, when we you know how they record it, and you can get on the screen and stuff, so you can see them walking down the stage. And so we're like, do something together, but can sit next to each other. It's not alphabetical like high school. You can sit with whoever you want to sit with within your college. So Diane and I were next to each other, and we're like, oh, we should do something fun. And so Diane, and for those of you that do not know, Diane is Serbian, the Serbian queen over here. And another quite famous Serbian is Novak Djokovic.
She's whatever.
The tennis player. For those people that do not know, and who played Ben Shelton, who was a Gator. And they had a fun little thing that went quite, I guess, viral on social media with the phone call and then Novak hanging it up when they were playing each other. So we're like, let's do that. Let's do that. So I called Diane, and then she very rudely hung up my phone, and her cap almost fell out.
It did. Tony, I can send you the video. We can clip that in.
It's so funny. You can she hung up the phone with so much force. You can see the cap shift on her head, and then she got so flustered that she didn't even do anything after it. She just walked off because I did a little wave and a chomp beforehand, and then I picked up the phone. I thought she was gonna do the same thing afterwards, but she was just so flustered. She just walked.
I said, wow.
Love it. Yeah, mine was, we didn't get that much screen time. And I walked up and I went to shake the lady's hand, but she was handing me the diploma and I played it off. I didn't realize I've never graduated before. My high school.
You haven't either. Yeah.
We didn't have a same, most people down here in Texas, the big schools, they go to AT&T or Google Bus or whatever and have a stage. I don't know if you had that, Diane, but a lot of people that I know from Texas did. Okay, you didn't either.
No, my graduation was you get a 5-minute time slot and you showed up for your 5-minute time slot and you walked across the stage.
Yeah, because we all graduated during COVID, so none of us got a regular.
Yeah, but she was so there were a lot of schools though where she was referencing where they were going into the AT&T stadium and doing your social distance and during COVID year.
Oh really?
Yeah, and they would do drive-throughs and stuff, and my school didn't. My school, there's too many of us. There's 1,400 in our grade. So they were like, come during your slot and that's it.
Yeah.
Ours didn't. I think we had like a drive up scheduled at a polo place, like the horses. Because it's such a big parking lot. But then I guess someone in my grade like went on a trip and got COVID and then partied with people. And then like everyone got COVID in that friend group. So then like most of the school didn't had it. So they just canceled it. And then I moved into OSU and then they like had a ceremony for people to drive up and get their drive through. And I was already in class, which kind of crazy. Classes start way later in the Northeast. But yeah, so I was like, I don't know what to do. So when they were like, okay, walk across the stage, like trying to look, see what everyone else is doing. I was like 5 or 6 rows back. And then, so yeah, I went to shake her hand, but she's handing me the diploma. So I just went and then I like, for the picture, I posed with my holding the diploma. So it worked out, like it was fine. But yeah, in the moment I was like, oh, I was like, that's embarrassing. And then when I watched the video back, I was like, oh, played that off. I don't remember walking off the stage. No recollection. Like
I blacked out. I don't remember doing it. I think I was so scared that I was going to trip and eat it because I was wearing like 5-inch heels.
Nope, I wore Dunks. I was like, I'm not even risking anything. I wore my orange Dunks. I was like, nope, we're not going to trip. We're not going to fall. I'm probably going to fall in my Dunks because I'm just uncoordinated in general. So I was like, we're just going to wear sneakers and go with it. But yeah, but it was really nice. There was 1,200 in my ceremony. So we had the biggest college this year. Yeah, so they split it up the way we do it. Is split it up by college. So the whole College of Arts and Sciences. And then you just sit wherever, like no matter what your major is or your anything. So like it was kind of, I kind of wanted to hear like, oh, tell me about more sports media, but like that's 2 extra words and 2 per person make it twice as long. So, you know, it was like 2.5 hours, I think. But yeah.
And for that many people?
Yeah. It took over an hour to read all the names, but like they went pretty quick for 1,200, like little over an hour.
They do a double screen?
They had, 2 sides, like 2 people at podiums, and then it was like each side had boom, 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 boom. So, but like my grandparents were where I was sitting, so that was cute. Like I could look up and point at them. So that was nice.
Yeah. But no, our ceremonies, I guess UF, they break it up by college. So we had maybe 200 people in our ceremony. We were definitely one of the smaller ones, but it still took the full 2 hours because we have like 45 minutes of talking before you even do anything. So we had like the dean talked for a little bit, and then we had, oh my gosh, what was that kid's name that spoke? So we at every college ceremony, they have like a student that speaks, and I forget his name, but he was so good, and everybody loved him, and he was so sweet.
He like hit it right on the nail. He was saying like kind of how like failure like redirected him into like his like biggest success and stuff, and that like another thing he said that I was like was he was like not everyone's gonna support you in your dream, and I was like and I like looked up at my parents and my mom texted me and she's like and I was like
yeah, no, it was definitely crazy. We were also front row, so we were definitely not the best place for Diane and I to be sitting together at a place that we're supposed to be paying attention, but it was fun.
Yeah,
I think we had a grand old time. At least there wasn't anybody sitting next to us.
And I had that empty chair next to me.
Diane had an empty chair next to her, so she kicked up her legs.
I literally did.
She literally kicked her legs up and was like laying across the chairs. I was like, yeah, I'm sure the team is appreciating this so much.
Don't care.
We had the president of the school speak, and then someone from our class, I think, spoke. And then there was like a couple, but each person was like 5 minutes. And we had a commencement speaker that was a local politician, and she only went for like 15 minutes. It felt quick in the moment. I don't know how quick it actually was, but it wasn't super long or anything. But yeah, so I'm glad we all finally got a graduation, finally
a real one.
But yeah, so all right, well, talk to me. What's next for you guys? What's going on?
Isn't that the question of the hour? I swear.
The easiest answer. So I feel like maybe I should go first because
I swear every adult though, like that's the first thing that comes out of the mouth now. Yeah. I'm just like, bro, how are you? What's good? Like, no, it's always what are you doing?
What's next? Yeah. So I'm going to grad school for a year for those who do not know. So nice and easy answer to that question for now. So I'm putting it off for a year, the actual answer of trying to figure out what's next. But going back to Connecticut to to attend Quinnipiac University. So I live with my parents, which will be the biggest challenge of my career, is moving back in with my parents after 4 years of freedom, and especially living alone for this past year.
That's what I'm most scared of, bro. Like having to move back home, and I'm like, I just got away. What are you doing? Moving back?
It's a 1-year program though, so luckily I already have the end date, and I know it's pretty quick. No, I'm looking forward to being around my family.
For any of our parents listening, we do love you.
Yes, no,
It's just rough.
No, my parents know. We've had this conversation. I'm like, let's just see how we get along, because we'll see. No, but it'll be good. My mom's like, you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to still do your own laundry, and I was like, I can do that. I've been doing it for 4 years. Cooking is my one thing. I'm like, Mom, just cook for me. And she's like, no, you need to learn how to cook. And I'm like, well, why would I need to do that if I have you to make it for me? You know? So
exactly.
That's where we're already kind of clashing a little bit. So
speaking of cooking, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I haven't even told Diane this yet. I was literally laying in my bed earlier thinking, I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to like start a series on TikTok. I think that we should start a cooking with Cassie and Diane series, and we should attempt to make food a few nights a week and see how it goes. So
I have a friend from back home. He's like really good at making things, and he had to FaceTime me and help me make scrambled eggs, and I messed it up so badly. So this was like my freshman year.
Oh, okay.
That's why I had the omelet maker, because I couldn't make the eggs. And so he's Hispanic, and so they're huge on like cooking. And his family like are chefs, and so he was like, oh, I can help you, and I was like, no, you cannot.
You can't help. So I think this would be a very entertaining series to begin. Maybe we'll start easy with like Trader Joe's frozen meals, and we can like follow instructions.
Cassie and I actually made a dish one time. It was the elf pasta, the spaghetti.
Okay, wait, hold on. I know we're going to get right now, but this is very, very funny. So we had a dinner party before winter break with like a few of our friends before we all like left to go home and stuff, and left each other for a few weeks. And so everybody made something and like brought a dish. And Diane and I looked at each other and we're like, we're not making shit. Like we can't do this. And so we're like, what if we make something together? And what if we make something like funny, like not an actual food? So we're like the elf pasta with all the nasty crap in it, and we made it on my floor in my room. We didn't tell anybody we were making it. We told them it was going to be a surprise.
It was dessert.
Bought all the ingredients, cooked the pasta in the kitchen, and then brought it into my room and made all the stuff. Maybe we can link Diane's TikTok she made to the video, because it's actually disgusting. And then we tried it and everyone hated it. They were like, what is wrong with you guys?
I hated it too.
It was brilliant. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I've not tried that, and I don't plan on it. I remember seeing your story, and I was like,
I'll send it
gosh, I will not be trying that.
It's so bad. Okay, before we were talking about cooking, we were talking about Tony's next adventure.
But no, that's really it. Just going to grad school for 1 year. So I'll get my master's in sports journalism and double down and specialize. So hopefully this actually is my career, because otherwise, who knows what I do? But, you know, so yeah, but that's it for me. It's a little grad school. So
nice. Yeah.
You can go off of that, actually, because you're actually going to.
Well, yeah, we have a very similar path. I've applied for my master's in social media. So I will be hearing back whether I got that in early July. At least that's what they told me. I'm hoping it's earlier than that, because I can't wait another month and a half to figure that out, because that's going to be annoying. But other than that, just applying. Thankfully, the master's program's online. So even if I get accepted to it, I can still go anywhere, get a job, do anything. The lady told me I have 7 years to finish it. So I'm like, that is more than enough time. I'm chilling. So other than that, just on the job hunt, as many of us are, and as many of us are not succeeding. But, you know, it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress.
It is. Like, that's where I'm at. No grad school for me. I'm done. I have exerted my brain. It's done. No more school.
As we can see with her pronunciation of phonetic.
Exactly. I'm done with school. I'm done. It's done. It's done. The dream's done. But I don't know. I feel like I've kind of like hit in other areas, like experience and stuff, and I feel that I've put some numbers on it. I'm like, okay, like I feel like if I can do this, like I just need to show them I can do it. The job search though has been a little interesting, because like at least I can be like, yeah, I'm not gonna reject it, because that's true. I'm not gonna reject it anywhere. It's just been a lot of like what is that? Throwing the dart at that's just what it feels like in the blink right now. But I did though go on air with ESPN Charlotte, and I did a segment with them. I talked about NIL environment, and I talked about like college basketball, like transfer portal and all that. So that was cool, and that kind of helped network a little bit for me. But it's my biggest goal. What I'm doing, prioritizing right now, is talking to at least 2 different people in the industry per week, and then from there applying, figuring out who they know, what they know, all that. But my plan is, if nothing lines up for me by July 10th, I'm going to drive home to Texas and just figure out from there. I really don't want to go home to Texas. I love my parents, like we were saying earlier, but I ran from there. So I'm like, I really don't want to run back home, but I can't control it. It's in God's hands. So I'm like, I'm going to just trust process. So hopefully something happens.
Definitely a rough life out in these streets.
Are you applying for on camera? I know you did a little bit with recruiting at UF. Are you applying for kind of recruiting jobs too, or are you just looking for the on air things, or what is your search?
So I've kind of been looking in all 3 right now, but I've been like very specific, like honing in on social media, I think, just because I think that's a really good starting spot for if I ever do want to go like on air stuff. Also, on air can also be doing like side gig for that too. So I can start there, and then if that kind of turns into something bigger, then that turns into something bigger. But everyone that I've talked to that's in the broadcasting world, a lot of them, this is like their side gig, unless you are Tony Bromo, Laura Rutledge, Aaron, you know, like those guys. But everyone I've been talking to is kind of like their little side hustle. And I'm like, I would not mind that. So there's that. And then obviously social media. And then I love operations and like player personnel. So I've been looking into that stuff too. I've been talking to some people there. But so I'm kind of just going all 3 and seeing which one happens first. But
what hits? Honestly, I feel like that's what you have to do now at this point, because the job industry.
I just gotta just get your foot in the door and then run after that.
Yeah, like just generally speaking, I feel like the job opportunities right now, like in any field, are like so slim, and then you add sports on top of that, and it's like even slimmer. So
what's crazy though is there's a lot of jobs open right now, like a lot of jobs,
but it doesn't seem like they're hiring.
I know, it's so weird.
It's so weird how it works. Like they're advertising all these jobs, and then you apply to them, and you never hear from them.
That's why my biggest focus right now is like
just talking to people.
Yeah, because I think honestly what it is, it's all networking. Is they know who they want to hire. They know, oh, okay, I've heard this person.
Exactly.
Because there's thousands of resumes that go through it. So it's kind of like, shit, I gotta really like.
It's you finding the people that work for the job that's open and sending them your resume, and then applying. So then they have your resume already, and then you have the application in, and then they handle that from there. Yeah. But it's like if you're just putting in the application, I feel like it's all near to impossible. You have to know somebody that's on that recruiting team or that job team.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
And they don't teach you that. They don't, like, they kind of do. They kind of tell you network.
In your last semester, maybe. Though.
Yeah, in your last semester. And, like, it's kind of a given, like, to network. Like, and I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job of that throughout college, but they don't tell you exactly what networking is. So I really honed into it the past, like, 3 weeks where I'm like, okay, this is networking. I'm going to make these calls because no one's going to give it to me. I got to go give it or go get it. And so it's like, whatever. But I think it's fun. I kind of think it's fun. I like being able to talk to a bunch of people, and I kind of
a little bestie.
Yes, and I like, in a really weird way, not knowing what's next, because it just means that the whole world is in front of me, and it's
the world is your oyster.
Exactly, but it's kind of scary. But I've done it before. I'm gonna do it again. So
big mindset is that not knowing what's next means there could be anything next. So
exactly.
So I think that's all the time we have for today. Covered about all we can catch up with right now, but. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.